Hi, my name is Darian Shaw, and I'm doing a persuasive speech on college football needing a playoff system. All my life, I have been a sports fan. In my younger years, I watched all sports for the love of the game and the excitement and energy the athletes played with. The athletes inspired me to be a better athlete and pushed me to work hard to have a winning season. Early on, I learned that when you have a winning season, you are at the top of your league, and having a chance to play in championship game rewards you. This concept is why I chose to do this speech. I feel that it's important to have a playoff system in college football. Of all college sports, football is the only sport that does not participate in a playoff system. The current system, Bowl Championship Series, better known as the BCS, is flawed. As I got older, I began to learn the fundamentals of the games and how rules and regulations have an impact on teams and how athletes play the game. For a sports fan, there is nothing more exciting than playoffs and championship games. From the end of the current season to the beginning of the next, fans consume themselves with the what-ifs and the wait to next year comments. We think about the moments that define the season and the ups and downs of our teams and the teams of our opponents. Playoffs and championship games are the spark in the eyes of fans and athletes at the end of a seemingly long season. Most fans would agree that a playoff system in college football would be great. This brings us to an age-old debate. The following are 4 key points I want to share. The current system is unfair to smaller conferences. In previous years, the national champion hasn't always played the next best team. A playoff system of the 8 best teams will eliminate an undefeated team being left out of the championship game. And lastly, the BCS is unwilling to change the current system due to the likelihood that money will be lost due to having to split it with more schools. Tom Buchanan, University of Wyoming president and chairman of the Mountain West Conference Board of Directors said, "I will put this as bluntly as I can. We all believe that change is needed. The current system is not fair, and somebody needs to stand up and say that and ask for dialogue amongst all the parties involved. This is not a gesture on our part." San Diego State University President Stephen Weber said, "There is a fundamental unfairness here that I think the whole country is aware of, and somebody's got to stand up and confront the unfairness." The Senate subcommittees is also looking into the fairness of the current system. The subcommittee's agenda statement included the following explanation about its planned BCS investigation. Though the BCS claims to represent all of college football, even going so as far as to call the winner of the BCS championship game the national champion, the BCS system leaves nearly half of all the teams in college football at a competitive disadvantage. The subcommittee will hold hearings to investigate these issues, and Senator Hatch will introduce legislation to rectify this situation. The national championship game under the current BCS has often disappointed fans when it comes to the matchup in the national championship game. The Associated Press reports that one of the most recent evidences of this is when the MWC champion, Utah, was an unbeaten major team, but was never seriously in the running to play the BCS title game in the 2008 season. Florida beat Oklahoma for the championship, while the Utes finished number 2 after beating Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. Mr. Dutton states that in 2008, 5 one-loss teams and 2 undefeated teams were left out of the BCS title game in favor of 2 one-loss teams, even though one of the teams left out, Texas, beat one of the BCS title game teams, Oklahoma, by 10 points on a neutral field. Then in 2006, an undefeated Boise State team was left out of the BCS title game in favor of a one-loss Florida team. In 2004, two undefeated teams, Auburn and Utah, were left on the outside, looking in, as two other undefeated teams, USC and Oklahoma, got to play in the BCS title game. Another approach to this would be to have a playoff system of the top 8 teams. Ned Dutton suggests, and I agree, a solution to the problem as proposed by many voices in the college football universe would be to use the BCS, since college football isn't getting rid of it anytime soon, to find the top 8 teams at the end of the year and have those 8 fight it out, March Madness style, for the title. The thinking goes, the top team has to be in those 8, so let the games begin. But in the end, the final decision always seems to focus on financial benefits rather than what's good for the game. The total revenue for the games in 2004 was at least $93 million. The profit is split among the participating schools, minus fees associated with hosting the bowls. Representative Tom Osborne of Nebraska said, unfortunately, as far as I'm concerned, it seems like everything in athletics is about money, and it's not always aimed about the student athlete or what's best for the game. But the BCS presidents have fought a playoff system tooth and nail. Why? They claim, laughably, that it will interfere with academics. The real objection to a playoff system is that it would mean more equitable revenue sharing. I have given you the major points of this controversy. I know how I feel. But what do you think? Is the current system good for the game? Should we just leave things alone and let them go on as they always have? Or do you think it's time for a change? Thank you.